तले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे निताई गौरांग जय निताई गौरांग जय निताई गौरांग जय निताई गौरांग जय गौर हरि गौर 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 हरि जय सचिनंदन गौर हरि नदिया विहारी गौर हरि कलिमल हारी गौर हरि जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय प्रहलाद नृसिंह जय अनंत देव प्रहलाद नृसिंह जय अनंत देव जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव सुभद्रा माई जय जय सुदर्शन जय राधा माधव अष्ट सखी गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव, 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। निताई गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताई गौर हरि बोल। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहें जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन जी महाराज की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। साकेत अयोध्यापुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse number 33. Sadrasham cheshtate svasya प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रहः किं करिष्यति। सदृशं चेष्टते स्वस्या प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रहः किं करिष्यति। सदृशं चेष्टते स्वस्याः प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यानि भूतानि निग्रहः किं करिष्यति। Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Purport. Unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from the influence of the modes of material nature, as it is confirmed by the Lord in the 7th chapter, 7.14. Therefore, even for the most highly educated person on the mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of the entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge or by separating the soul from the body. There are many so called spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in the science, but inwardly or privately are completely under particular modes of nature when they are unable to surpass. Academically, one may be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, he is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties in terms of material existence. Therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so called yogi or transcendentalists artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. This one may be, I'm sorry, thus one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna's Maya. Om Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagan Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Significant verse from the point of view of practical application of spirituality. Many misconceptions will be cleared if you listen to it with rapt attention. So the Lord tells Arjun that not a single living entity is spared from the bondage of the material nature, and hence everybody is forced to act out of his acquired nature, which he has got from the three modes of material nature. And then Krishna says, what can repression achieve? It's this verse can easily confuse. So kindly pay attention to the purport. Srila Prabhupada is saying, theoretically, academically, you may read, you may understand what you read, but because of your prolonged association of many lifetimes, you still cannot change the nature that you have acquired from the three modes. I repeat, Srila Prabhupada is saying that theoretically or academically you might understand the truth of difference between soul and matter. You may theoretically understand, but because of your prolonged association with the modes of material nature, you can't liberate yourself from the bondage. You go to a doctor, you get diagnosed with cancer, you understand what a cancer does. It's a tumor, it expands, it kills the good cells, and the bad cells keeps on expanding, attacking your various organs. You understand it. But what can that understanding do? Till the time you don't apply the cure, and currently there is no cure, the nature of the disease will continue to spread inside the body. And your thinking is of little help. Very, very significant. Now we are entering into it. The Lord tells Arjun specifically, your theoretical understanding is inadequate and insufficient. Prabhupada went to Radha Krishna's house, the president of India. And he had written a commentary upon Bhagavad Gita. And at that time, he was on the deathbed and he was disoriented. Being on deathbed is one thing, being disoriented is another. And Prabhupada, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was his name. Prabhupada, while leaving his house, he said, look at him. He thought he commented upon Bhagavad Gita. And he's disoriented and bewildered at his own deathbed. Remember, we are checked about what we say to people. Majority of Indians till date consider Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan's Bhagavad Gita as very superior Bhagavad Gita. But that's an academic, intellectual exercise. It can give you an intellectual high, but it can't release you from the bondage, because the bondage is born out of prolonged association with modes of material nature. I like apple in this lifetime because I used to like apple in previous lifetime. And maybe many lifetimes. So if I have to unlearn liking apple, then the process has to be completely different. Merely knowing that it's from previous lifetimes doesn't help. The bondage will work upon you irrespective of ignorance or knowledge. It will work upon you and you can't get out of it. That's why Krishna is saying, Nigraham Kim Karishyati. By repressing, no, 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 I shouldn't think like that. I shouldn't think. You can't help it. The thought will pop up. That's why Prabhupada is saying, unless and until you are situated in Krishna consciousness, the modes will continue to act. And therefore, even in devotional life, devotees at the early stage are advised to continue working. Don't leave your job. Sometimes people think, oh, I will leave everything and serve Krishna. No. We love ourselves much more than we love Krishna. And hence, we are forced to enjoy the material world alongside working under a superior training. We should have a guide who will say, okay, Prabhu, you go to office, you come back and you just perform this devotional service. You chant daily, you read daily, but that's it. Don't do other activities. Over the weekend, you take a Bhakti Vriksh class, and that's fine. But the same guide will, after 5 years, say, now don't spend so much time with family. Give one full Sunday to devotional service. Because now he understands that the modes have changed relatively. You are a little more attuned to the newer lifestyle. Krishna, throughout Bhagavad Gita, professes and champions gradual and organic transformation. That is why he uses the word shanai, shanai, slowly, gradually. And any transformation that is not gradual is a violent transformation. You have to understand, transformation occurs via two modes. It will occur via training or trauma. So Dhruv Maharaj's transformation was achieved via trauma. When his stepmother threw him out of his dad's lap and he felt furious. And then he asked his mom, he said, I want a kingdom which should be greater than my father. And she said, then you have to serve Narayan. Then he asked, where will I find Narayan? And then the poor mother said, I heard that he resides in jungle. So Dhruv left home and he met Narad Muni. And Narad Muni appreciated him. He said, you fighters, your resolve is always so strong. This is a mode acquired by a living entity, mode of passion. So Dhruv Maharaj was under trauma. So he took a resolve to transform. But not all of us are Dhruv Maharaj. Majority of us transform ourselves through training. Look at Lord Brahma. His sampradaya, we are a part of his sampradaya, but we are very different. If you go to Madhvas, which is Brahma Madhva, I'm not adding the word Gaudiya. If you go to Udupi, they are Tattvavadis. They don't chant, though they are from Brahma Madhva. We chant. And that is a path of Krama Mukti. Krama Mukti means, okay, satisfy yourself with religion, dharma. Satisfy yourself with money, earth. Satisfy yourself with sense enjoyment, calm. Then satisfy, then think of mukti. It's krama mukti, it's gradual. And Brahmaji's approach is lifetime over lifetime. Bahunam janma namante. That's how Lord Brahma works. So, why is he working like that? Because he is changing the modes. The living entity has to study scripture, meditate upon his constitutional identity as a soul, and then work in that identity and achieve self realization. It's called Krama Mukti. It is not violent. What happened to Dhruv Maharaj was violent. It's exactly like clearing an exam with the help of a coaching institute versus clearing it without any coaching institute. Those who clear it without any coaching institute, sometimes they take extreme vow. I will study 18 hours, 16 hours, 14 hours. I'll not go out. I won't do anything. I'll give up screen time, everything. But that's violent change, not a recommended form of change. Krishna recommends Shanai Shanai, gradual. It doesn't mean you go slower than your usual capability. That's hypocrisy. You can lift 10 kgs and you keep saying, but I'm lifting 4 kg, but I'm lifting 4 kg. Then it's gross underutilization of your capacity. So that is cheating. But the Lord wants us to not pick up 15 kg from day one when your capacity is 10. He expects 10.5, then 11, then 11.5, like that. Nigraham Kim Karishyati means if you try to suppress your current nature, you will not succeed. Take as many examples as possible. The first example is mothers who are fond of weight loss, who undergo severe starvation sessions, so to say. They don't eat much. After 10 days, because it's not their basic nature to not eat, then on 11th day, they make up what you call cheat meal. And they don't stop at 11th day. Then they hog. They overeat like anything for next 4 days. Then they make up for that loss because Nigraham Kim Karishyati. Repression what can repression do? So basically, no transformation occurred. It was fasting followed by feasting. So where is the transformation? And Krishna knows it inside out. So he recommends that don't take this kind of an approach. And Prabhupada then elaborates in the purport. He says, wherever you are, you start your spiritual journey under the guidance of a superior devotee. And keep working on your anarthas on the strength of chanting of the holy names. Then the bondage will become loose. Actually, then the transformation will occur. Those of you who didn't understand it or you want simpler examples, when you sleep, majority of your cells go under some kind of inertia. Now, when you wake up, you don't want to wake up because then you have to change the whole system. because everybody has gone into a state of relaxation. You have to bring it out. So that's mode of ignorance. Now, from mode of ignorance, you can't say, I get up and just sit and chant. No, you cannot. You will doze off again. So you go to a washroom and you splash water in your eyes. And not once, not twice. That coldness of water touching your eyes has an impact on your nervous system. That's when all the muscles and everything else in the body responds to that mild trauma of cold water hitting the eyes. And you transform from mode of ignorance to mode of passion. This is the transformation of modes. And all of us have to practice it. If you overeat and you are fooling yourself that no matter what time I eat and how much I eat, I have taken the vow to wake up at 3:30, means I'll wake up at 3:30. That's a violent transformation. Very soon you are going to have ulcers. You will have to respect how nature functions and align yourself with nature. Without entering mode of goodness, bhakti becomes difficult. It's very clear. Take support. Modes, those of you who have seen the game of pole vaulting. In the game of pole vaulting, the athlete runs with the pole, takes support of the pole, gains great height due to the pole, and then crosses over the obstacle, but he doesn't take the pole along. He goes to other side, leaving the pole on this side. Similarly, a sadhu takes help of the modes, situates himself in the mode of goodness, and then transcends the modes themselves, leaving all the three modes on this side. And he becomes transcendental to the modes. So, the two parts that you have to understand in this verse are, number one, premature sannyas, premature spiritualism, premature attempt is not going to work. And second is, if you have to transform, then look at gradual transformation under the training of a superior guide. These two are the takeaways from this verse. Now we will move to the next verse. Mataji, please put it up on the screen. If there is any question, you can now ask, or we will go to the next one. A beautiful verse. इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियास्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तर्यो न वशमागच्छेतौ हयस्य परिपन्थिनौ. Mataji, directly go to the translation, please. Yeah. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self realization. Purport: those who are in Krishna consciousness are naturally reluctant to engage in material sense gratification. But those who are not in such consciousness should follow the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures. Mind you, dear devotees, we fall in the second category right now. We are probationary Vaishnavas. We are not Vaishnavas. We are struggling sadhak. We are not situated. And therefore, we are instructed to perform Vaidhi Bhakti, not Raganuga Bhakti. Means based on rules and regulations. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement. It's a very, very significant line. I repeat, Unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement. But one who follows the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures does not become entangled by the sense objects. For example, sex enjoyment is a necessity for the conditioned soul, and sex enjoyment is allowed under the license of marriage ties. According to scriptural injunctions, one is forbidden to engage in sex relationships with any woman other than one's wife. All other women are to be considered as one's mother. But in spite of such injunctions, a man is still inclined to have sex relationships with other women. These propensities are to be curbed, otherwise, they will be stumbling blocks on the path of self realizations. As long as the material body is there, the necessities of the material body are allowed, but under rules and regulations. And yet, we should not rely upon the control of such allowances. One has to follow those rules and regulations, unattached to them, because practice of sense gratification under regulation may also lead one to go astray. As much as there is always the chance of an accident, even on the royal roads. Although they may be very carefully maintained, no one can guarantee that there will be no danger, even on the safest road. The sense enjoyment spirit has been current a very long time, owing to material association. Therefore, in spite of regulated sense enjoyment, there is every chance of falling down. Therefore, any attachment for regulated sense enjoyment must also be avoided by all means. But attachment to Krishna consciousness or acting always in the loving service of Krishna detaches one from all kinds of sensory activities. Therefore, no one should try to be detached from Krishna consciousness at any stage of life. The whole purpose of detachment from all kinds of sense enjoyment, attachment, is ultimately to become situated on the platform of Krishna consciousness. Mataji, you can remove it now. So, here there are two categories described. Category number one is people who are liberated. For them, there is no rule, no regulation. Gopis are not expected to chant 16 rounds. They are also not expected to perform Guru Puja. They are also not told to follow four regulative principles. Nothing is binding upon them. Forget about everything. They won't even get up at 3:30. Because these rituals have an objective, and that objective is to develop love for Krishna. These gopis have already developed that love for Krishna. So that is one category. The second category is people like us. For us, living a regulated life is a necessity. Prabhupada gave the example of Vivaha Samskar and Grahastha Ashram. And he then says, it is good to follow rules and regulations. But if you develop sufficient attachment with the Lord, then even leave this. Because sometimes there is a road and the traffic from one side comes on the other side of the divider, and the traffic from your side goes, and both of them, there is no chance of accident. Prabhupada warns, even then on the royal roads, on the national highways, there are many a times accidents that take place. You won't collide with, head on, but somebody will bang into you from behind, and the accident will happen. So Prabhupada is recommending, if possible, no sense enjoyment. But if not possible, then at least regulated sense enjoyment. So look at the connect between previous verse and this verse. In the previous verse, Krishna, everything in Bhagavad Gita is very logically arranged. First, Krishna says, Nigraham Kim Karishyati. Don't force your nature. So then what do? He says, then regulate your nature. You like food? Okay. But offer it to me and then eat. Gradually, you will become purified only by honoring my prasad. Prabhupada gave a long this thing about sex life. He says, if you want to enjoy, get married and settle down. Regulated sense enjoyment is a characteristic, a feature of a civil society. The term Aryan implies one who knows the value of life. He is Aryan. And Aryan also means civilized. And civilized means Varnashram. Otherwise, nobody is civilized. Till the time one does not follow the system of Varnashram, he is uneducated, illiterate as far as spiritual life is concerned. So there is a connect between previous verse and this verse. First, Krishna warns you can't change your nature. Don't repress, but regulate. Prabhupada goes a step further. He says, don't bother about detachment. Just focus on attachment to Krishna. More you are attached to Krishna, automatically you will be detached from the world. And then the famous example that is given is, if you honor prasad, without your effort, the belly is satisfied, the tongue is satisfied, and the mind is satisfied. One activity satisfies three organs. Similarly, when Krishna is satisfied, then the detachment will automatically occur. So the best case scenario is, as far as possible, stay engaged in loving devotional service. For some reason, when your mind does not permit you and it wants you to enjoy, then regulate. Prabhupada, the third or fourth line in that purport, very significant line I said. Prabhupada is saying, unrestricted sense enjoyment is the root cause of material entanglement. Look around.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Sorry,
Yes.
Prabhuji, one doubt.
Yes.
Now, we have this another kind of problem. Like, let us say the mindset is like, unless the problem is solved, we don't want to come out. It's a scientific problem or a mathematical problem. The mind gets engaged in the kind of thing. Is this also a sort of sense enjoyment?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's intellectual kick.
Okay.
That one derives. So
is
the
it
aha moment, it's born out of ego.
okay, Prabhuji. Is it wrong, or we should try to come out of that also?
Well, at least regulate it in the sense that if you have stopped chanting, if you have stopped reading, if you have stopped giving time to family, and 24/7, if you are obsessed with it, there is a danger, certainly.
Means Prabhuji not obsessed, but in the office, let's say there is some problem in the aircraft or whatever, like a mind doesn't like to give up the problem and we want to be involved in it till it is solved. Looks like it's a sort of an attachment.
Yeah, it is an attachment. Kindly, if you look at Mahabharata, if you just read a few pages, you will see that 3 times those Brahmins will do Sandhya, irrespective of whatever important other item is there. So your routine activities have to continue. You can't say leave aside everything till the time I don't finish this, I'm not going to look at anything else. That is mode of passion.
But Prabhuji, this is also our occupational duty.
No, it isn't. Your
No.
occupational duty is to work towards a solution. But when you get hung up, that nothing doing, Now the occupational duty has gotten overstated. This is
Okay.
not written.
Okay,
You have to
Prabhuji.
understand. Yeah, it's a simple answer. Regulation is a feature of mode of goodness, and it is damn difficult.
Okay.
I am not even qualified to speak on regulation.
Okay, Prabhuji. So, like, if just a question, like, if our passion happens to be the occupational duty, is it okay, or that is also not okay,
That
Prabhuji?
is also incorrect.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Less correct, I would say.
Okay,
Least
Prabhuji.
correct is when you dream about the job and don't go to office. That's mode of ignorance.
Okay, Prabhuji.
When you go to office and then you are stuck up in, this time I'm going to be the employee of the month no matter what, this time I'm going to get the best promotion, best increment, and then you are slogging, you know 12 hours, 14 hours. It's mode of passion. Stick to
Oh,
the office timing, and when you are working,
huh.
give your best, but not at the cost of your spiritual life.
Okay,
That's
Prabhuji.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Can we go to the next verse, please? Shama Vallabha Mataji? Yeah, thank you. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat swadharme nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. Translation: it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. Purport: one should therefore discharge his prescribed duties in full Krishna consciousness rather than those prescribed for others. Materially, prescribed duties are duties enjoined according to one's psychophysical condition, under the spell of the mode of material nature. Those of you who didn't understand this, if you are a painter by nature, then better is that you paint, and you paint with all your focus. If you are a singer, you are expected to sing and not sing as a hobby, then give singing your best. If you are a player or an athlete, then that is your prescribed duty and you should give your best. And why does that happen? Because this is according to one's psychophysical condition. Your brain also thinks like that, and your body is also adapted to it. But sometimes our bodies are not supporting, and our brain is hung up on something. Now there is going to be a problem. So we are going to read that further. Spiritual duties are as ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Krishna. So material duties are born out of psychophysical condition. Spiritual duties are born out of the guidance given by the spiritual master. Whether you like it or you don't like it, then you have to follow them. But whether material or spiritual, one should stick to his prescribed duties even up to death, rather than imitate another's prescribed duties. Duties on the spiritual platform and duties on the material platform may be different, but the principle of following the unauthorized direction is always good for the performer. When one is under the spell of the modes of material nature, one should follow the prescribed rules for his particular situation and should not imitate others. For example, a Brahmin who is in the mode of goodness is non-violent, whereas a Kshatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. As such, for a Kshatriya, it is better to be vanquished following the rules of violence than to imitate a Brahmin who follows the principles of non-violence. Jai Prabhupada. This is such an amazing example. Everyone has to cleanse his heart by a gradual process, not abruptly. However, when one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Krishna consciousness, he can perform anything and everything under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. In that complete stage of Krishna consciousness, the Kshatriya may act as a Brahmin, or a Brahmin may act as a Kshatriya. In the transcendental stage, the distinctions of the material world do not apply. For example, Vishwamitra was originally a Kshatriya, but later on he acted as a Brahmin, whereas Parshuram was a Brahmin, but later on he acted as a Kshatriya. Being transcendentally situated, they could do so. But as long as one is on the material platform, he must perform his duties according to the modes of material nature. At the same time, he must have a full sense of Krishna consciousness. So, first thing is paradharmo bhayavaha. Following someone else's occupation is always dangerous. Actually, Krishna is indirectly telling this to Arjun, that just because you heard from me the science of soul in chapter 2, now you want to use that as an excuse and refrain from fighting, which is your main nature. Current prescribed duty for a Kshatriya is to fight. But you want to avoid fight. Therefore, you are taking an excuse of being a transcendentalist, but you are not actually. So, if a Kshatriya wishes to act like a Brahmin and otherwise, he will be a misfit there. If Brahmin commits violence, he incurs sin. If Kshatriya commits violence, it is his duty. One will gain from that action, one will be penalized for that action. So, we should paradharmo bhayavaha. Swa anushtitan. You have to be situated in your own prescribed duty. Now you can give scores of examples. When a student has his exams and he somehow gets carried away and starts helping others at the cost of preparation for his own exam, this is paradharmo, and this will be dangerous. The same is true for job also. You remain situated in your dharma. Don't imitate. And these imitations happen at a large scale. Every middle class copies the rich class and looks like a near fool. Because those who belong to that rich club, they know that this person is not up to the mark yet. That's why when we go to five-star hotels, we who come from middle class, we become conscious because we know we don't belong to those places. We imitate. And what is the danger? The danger is you will lose money and you won't gain much. Paradharmo bhayavaha. If you like cricket, don't waste your time on chess. Then play cricket, which means you may get bored. You may want to give up on it. You may get, frustrated. No, don't leave. Paradharmo bhayavaha. If you are a housewife, don't copy somebody who is a working woman. You will be at loss. Paradharmo bhayavaha. But Prabhupada gives an example in purport, same Kshatriya Brahman example, he turns upside down. He says, but when it comes to Vishwamitra and Parshuram, a Brahman became a Kshatriya and a Kshatriya became a Brahmin, and both are okay. Because on transcendental platforms, these rules don't apply. There, Pardharmo Bhayava doesn't work. So if you have to manage a temple and at the same time you have to cook for the deities, you can do both, and then you can do the role of a pujari also. We don't wait. We just learn and do, because we are Daivi Varnashram, provided we are pure. Otherwise, if you are in a mixed category, you are satisfying material desires, you have interest in spiritual life, then keep following the regulations. Don't give up your prescribed duty. That temptation, of looking at brahmacharis in the temple and thinking, what a great life they are living. Wish I could leave my job tomorrow and join them. And many people do this stupidity. They join the temple abruptly. Prabhupada here again warns. He says it is gradual, it should not be done abruptly. You were not ready. You just saw one feature of it and got carried away. Well, now what will happen? You will get frustrated, because while living with them, they might have conquered the sex desire. You haven't. So now good luck to you. Then you will either do some mischief or you will leave the ashram again. And by that time, your job would be gone. Then you will neither belong to this side nor that. Paradharmo bhayavaha. One should remember that. And therefore, one should act as per one's ashram. Mataji, let's go to the last verse, if that's the last verse.
Not last, 43 total.
Oh, yeah. All right. Then can we pause for today? My throat is hurting actually. I spoke for the whole day today. And
Yes.
maybe we'll then connect next Saturday. Not maybe, we will connect on next Saturday and start from 3.36. Anyways, Arjun is having a different inquiry now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai, Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanand. Hare Krishna.